Good morning, welcome to the video. If you've seen my social media recently, you've seen that Trackmaster very kindly sent me out some new solid tines for the Camon LA25. Now, I've been pestering Trackmaster a long time to make these tines. Beforehand, what came as standard was a little, what I consider a pencil tine, which was fine. It still does all the good stuff that you want from an aerator, but by having a bigger tine, I mean, bigger's bigger, right? So by putting the bigger tines on, you were still going to create airflow, but you were going to get more airflow, have more gas exchange. Also, by having bigger holes in the ground, you're going to optimize your fertilizing and water programs. And also by having a bigger tine, you're going to be able to stimulate more root and shoot density. There's also client perception. Now, when you scarify a lawn, a client's going to come home from work and go, wow, you've got this massive mound of moss and thatch. Their green bin's going to be overflowing, or their compost area is going to be full, and they can see exactly what you've done. Now, sometimes when you come in and you just solid tine, it's very difficult to see straight away without looking what you've done. Now, I'll demonstrate this in a minute, but if you've made a load of holes with these tines, although you've definitely benefited the lawn, there is that element of, for some clients when they get home, of what actually have you done? And they're not going to be wanting to crawl around on their knees to look for the holes in the ground to make sure you've turned up. So by having a bigger hole, it's going to be more visible that you've actually done the work. Now, this isn't a problem I've had, but it's something that I'm aware could be an issue. And one of the other advantages I believe the aerator will have from the bigger tine is that actually it will just be the movement of the machine. Now, this is actually powered by the tines going back and forth and pushing it, and it actually walks the aerator along. Now, if you've got thin tines like this walking it along, I mean, it's obviously effective, it works. Now, I'm yet to test this, but I think a bigger tine is just going to be more effective. Now, this lawn's relatively flat, so I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue, but a lot of lawns aren't. They're quite undulating, they could be quite soft, they could be potentially quite steep in areas, so I think this is going to be a big advantage to have the bigger tine. So I've done 2 passes now with the old tines, and this is what I'm talking about when I talk about client perception. If you get close now, there are definitely holes there. 1, 2, 3, and then as your eyes adjust, you can definitely see them. But you can, apart from the lines of the tyres, you can see it's quite difficult to see exactly where you've been. Okay, so as I say, we're going to change the tines now. Now, all the tines are a 17mm spanner, so that makes it dead easy. I tend to just keep a spanner with the machine, so that way I never get to a job and I'm not able to change the tines. Yeah, so instantly you can see that there's holes in there. The holes are a lot bigger. Now, obviously the grass hasn't been cut recently, so that hides the holes a little bit more, but they're definitely there. Whereas if I move over to this side, remember this bit's just been done, but with the smaller, older tines, and although, yeah, you can see them, there's 1, 2, 3, it's definitely not as clear as over here. So this is still working, it's still giving all the benefits to the lawn, but this is just maximising it, letting more water, more air, more fertiliser into the ground. So To know how deep we're going, we've got two tricks here. One is to just get a little stick and just kind of poke it down the hole. And you'll see this in my other videos. Just turn it off a minute. You've got the height adjuster here, so you've got three heights of going in. This is at its highest, this is at middle, and this is obviously on its lowest. So if I wanted to go in lower, then I would just undo these bolts on either side, pull this forwards, and that just means that when you drop the tines down, the whole machine is just going to be a little bit lower, so it will go in further. One other way of working out how high or how deep you're going in is to look at the mud stains on the tines, and that should tally up with your classic stick test. So that's enough talking, I think, from me, so I'm now going to crack on and get this lawn done. So that's the whole lawn done now. I mean, instantly you can see the holes, which I think, just from a client's point of view, when they get home, they know you've done the job. Come over to this area is where the bird feeder seems to be, so you can really see the difference now of the holes going in there. So, I mean, the benefit to these new tines over the old tines simply are bigger. So everything is more oxygen, more water, more nutrients, bigger impact in removing compaction, and hopefully, you know, this will be a standard item which comes with this tool, or if not, as I say, you'll be able to purchase it as an extra. When I think of like golf course equipment, you know, there's half a dozen different types of tines you can get, maybe even more. Although this machine is for gardens, you know, why can't it have, you know, a collection of tines that you can get?